okay for me to stand here? Good morning. My name is Rebecca Garland, and I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Beautiful Day. Has anybody heard of Beautiful Day? I see a couple of hands. That's really great. And it's great for those of you who haven't heard of Beautiful Day, because part of my job is to inform the public about what we do and who we serve. Beautiful Day is a nonprofit, and we have been in existence since 2012. And we are what is known as a social enterprise. And what that is a business that has a mission. So we produce granola and coffee, and we hire only refugees to do the production and the sales and the shipping and anything else that they are able and willing to do. We hire them for approximately 300 hours, and we serve only refugees who have been referred to us as having the most difficult employment barriers. These are people who do not speak English. These are people who are dealing with trauma related to the terrible things that happened to them in their home countries. Many of them all of them had to flee incredible violence, and many witnessed terrible things as they were fleeing. And so they come here with emotional barriers to working. Some of them had great jobs back in their home countries, but those jobs do not translate very well into jobs here in America. For instance, our kitchen trainer, whom we actually ended up hiring permanently, was a nomadic camel herder in Somalia. And it's not like you find camel farms on Main Street in every town in Rhode Island. So he came here really with he jokes and says he has a PhD in camels. But basically he is illiterate in his own language and struggles with English and does not have skills that are directly translatable into the job market here in America. So our trainees are the ones with the most difficult employment barriers. They come to us, they stay with us for about 300 hours, which translates, depending on how many hours they work a week, it's between 6 months and a year that they stay with us. And during that time, they are learning within the context of a work atmosphere. So they're learning how to make granola, that is for sure. But they are also learning about American work culture, which for many of them is really a new thing. I have learned that many of our trainees, they had family businesses. So if their child was sick, they had an aunt or an uncle or somebody who could care for them. Here, if your child is sick, you need a plan B. You need to call in. You need to have somebody to watch them. You need to let your employer know. And these are things that they don't necessarily know. If you live if you live behind the shop where you actually work, getting to work on time is not an issue because you're always there. So the idea of showing up for work on time, or a time card, or the idea of direct deposit, these things are totally foreign to many of them. The idea of, oh my goodness, it's 11 o'clock at night and I just got out of work and I'm standing here in South Providence outside of Amos House where we have our kitchen, and how do I get home? We've had to teach them how to use their cell phones to call Lyft, things that we take for granted, they do not know. So we train them, they work with us, they improve their English, they gain confidence, and they do something really remarkable. And this is, I think, extraordinary. Most of them do not share a common language. That means that they cannot talk to each other. But when you ask them with a translator, what is it like to work at Beautiful Day? They will say, it's like a family. We're like a family. We love working there. And I was interviewing somebody from the Congo a couple of weeks ago with a translator, and she actually said that, and I had one of these aha moments where I was like, how can they create a family without being able to talk to each other? This is extraordinary. They have a lesson to teach our very divided country about the power of diversity and ways that you can communicate beyond language, ways that you can communicate with a smile, with a pat on the shoulder, with a thumbs up, with applause. This is the way they communicate. They show each other how to do the job. And then when they do it, they're all like, yay, yay, and people are really happy there, and people get along. It's really pretty amazing. Our kitchen manager is a Christian Iraqi woman. The person under her is a Muslim Somali man. She is his boss. And they get along great. They cannot talk to each other. One speaks Arabic, one speaks Somali. They do not share a common religion. They do not share gender. They share cultures where there are definite roles for men and women, which are not the ones that they are suddenly finding themselves in. It is extraordinary, the kinds of barriers that can get broken, and they are teaching us all the time and have valuable lessons to teach our country about how to tolerate, about tolerance, about acceptance, about compassion, and about caring. So I would love to talk more. I'm extremely enthusiastic about what we do. You probably gathered that. I'm very passionate about educating the public about refugees, the refugee situation in this country and in the world, which is actually pretty dire. Does anybody know how many refugees there are, how many displaced people there are in the world right now?
Several million.
The number is 70 million. And, you know, I think that human beings don't really have the capacity to understand those numbers, but what helps me to really get that is when I remember that there are 1 million, the population of Rhode Island is 1 million. So if you imagine 70 Rhode Islands lined up, and all the people in those 70 Rhode Islands are literally running for their lives. That's the extent of this problem. And we're here, we're small, we're struggling, and we are doing what we can to address this problem in a very small way in our little state, in our little corner. And I just ask that you would support us. We are a recipient of the Episcopal Charities grant, and we are so grateful for that. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for supporting us there. And I am committed to going to churches, especially Episcopal churches, because of this grant, and to thank the congregations and to share what we do so that more people are aware of the refugee situation in this state and in the world. So I would urge you, as you are led prayerfully, to give to the Episcopal Charities Fund, to support that. And please, if you can, to support us by purchasing our granola. I'm going to be in the coffee room, I'm not sure what the name of that is, in the hospitality room. I'm going to be selling granola. I have literature. Our annual report just came out. Love to hand it out to you and love to talk to you further. So thank you very much. God bless you, and let's enjoy the service together.